$600 million gone in seconds. Crypto theft using cloud servers. The rain pounded hard on a rooftop of a steel-gray data center nestled in the outskirts of Tokyo. Inside, humming servers glowed faintly beneath a veil of blinking lights, unaware of what was about to happen. At 2:47 a.m., a quiet ping echoed across one of the cloud monitoring dashboards. Nothing seemed unusual until seconds later, the logs exploded. Gigabytes of digital currency began vanishing without a trace. The engineers on the night shift froze, their screens showing numbers spinning wildly, balances dropping to zero, and transaction IDs flying across the screen like confetti in a storm. "Is this a test?" one whispered. Another technician hovered his mouse over the transaction trail, watching helplessly as wallets emptied faster than they could track. In that moment, $600 million in cryptocurrency evaporated. No warning, no confrontation, just cold precision and silence. The breach was flawless, remote, untraceable, almost inhuman. But someone had done this, and somewhere, someone was watching it all unfold. This is the story of one of the most devastating crypto heists in modern history. A story that began with a simple vulnerability, one overlooked permission, one poorly secured key, and ended with digital chaos. Today, you're going to walk through the anatomy of this attack. Who did it? How did they get in? How could something this massive happen in seconds and go undetected for hours? What role did cloud infrastructure play in making the perfect digital getaway? And most chilling of all, could it happen again? The trail begins not with a mastermind, but with a mistake. Poly Network was a rising player in decentralized finance, DeFi for short. It enabled users to transfer tokens across different blockchains like Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon. For everyday users, it felt like magic. Seamless, instant, borderless money. Behind the scenes, however, the system was held together by a delicate set of smart contracts and cryptographic bridges. These bridges acted as toll booths between blockchains, ensuring every token moved with legitimacy and security. Or so it seemed. August 10th, 2021. The attacker had been watching, lurking, not inside the system but around it, studying the GitHub repositories, reading old audits, testing minor vulnerabilities on cloned environments. They weren't looking for a way in. They were looking for the flaw in logic that everyone else had missed, and they found it. The cross-chain bridge, the very function that made Poly Network revolutionary, had a fatal weakness in how it verified instructions. With just the right crafted message, someone could impersonate the contract authority. It wasn't a password they broke. It wasn't a firewall they bypassed. It was code that trusted the wrong input. The attacker used a cloud-based server farm, ran it anonymously through a crypto-funded shell company. To stage the heist, with their script prepared, they sent a message, just one, and with it, redirected hundreds of millions in assets to 3 wallet addresses they controlled. The cloud infrastructure was key, not just for launching the attack, but for vanishing afterward. VPNs masked their origin, but the compute power of the cloud allowed them to move fast, outpacing detection systems. $273 million in Ethereum, $253 million in Binance Coin, $85 million in USDC. Gone. But the most baffling part? The attacker left a note. Embedded inside one of the transactions was a cryptic message, ready to return the funds. Just testing. The cybersecurity world was stunned. Poly Network's internal team scrambled to contain the damage. By sunrise, they had frozen some of the assets using cooperation from centralized exchanges. But the damage was already done. The blockchain doesn't forget. Law enforcement in multiple countries began tracking the wallets. Cybercrime investigators monitored darknet forums, looking for chatter. Some speculated this was an inside job. Others whispered it was a state-sponsored test. But one thing was clear. The attacker had exploited the very essence of what DeFi stood for: trustless, borderless, decentralized. Poly Network made a bold move. They reached out publicly to hacker, now dubbed Mr. White Hat, pleading for the return of funds. The bizarre digital negotiation that followed played out in real time as the attacker communicated directly on the blockchain, responding to messages through transaction metadata. Why return the money? Why leave clues? Was it ethical hacking or guilt? Was it ego or strategy? In one message, the hacker claimed they did it to expose a vulnerability before others could exploit it. Yet the planning, the execution, the speed, it all spoke of someone with deep knowledge and darker potential. Some of the funds were returned, then more. Eventually, nearly all of it. But questions remained. Who was Mr. White Hat? The IP trails led nowhere. The cloud servers were paid in Monero, the untraceable cryptocurrency favored by cybercriminals. The login methods used sophisticated timing patterns and location obfuscation. No biometric traces. No device fingerprints. The trail went cold. But behind the scenes, digital forensics teams pieced together fragments, compromised APIs, cloud configurations that have been exposed through third-party repositories, an outdated access control system that hadn't been patched in months. Poly Network's cloud infrastructure wasn't breached directly. It was manipulated indirectly, used as a tool in a heist. By deploying functions from a cloud with extreme precision and scale, the attacker weaponized the very services designed to protect and scale digital finance. At the core of this incident wasn't just human error. It was systemic trust. Smart contracts, once deployed, can't be undone. In this case, a contract was given too much power with too little scrutiny. It was the perfect storm. The hacker later claimed they had used advanced obfuscation methods to execute and clean the scripts. But digital traces showed brief CPU spikes in obscure virtual machines, likely the execution points. Each VM was deleted seconds after use. A ghost trail, nothing more. For investigators, it felt like chasing shadows. Then came the strange twist. Poly Network offered the hacker a job. Yes, a job as chief security advisor. It was part PR stunt, part desperation, and it divided the cybersecurity world. Some saw it as an olive branch to genius. Others saw it as legitimizing cybercrime. Governments took notice. Regulators pushed for stricter oversight on DeFi platforms. Cloud providers began mandating tighter identity verification for anonymous compute instances. The attack changed everything, but the hacker was never unmasked. No arrest, no leaks, just silence, and the knowledge that somewhere out there, someone held the key to the world's largest crypto theft. Someone who walked into a digital vault and walked out untouched. Could it happen again? Absolutely. As long as code is law, and as long as trust can be gamed, these systems remain vulnerable. And when those systems are built in the cloud, the margin for error shrinks to milliseconds. Today, millions still rely on DeFi for financial independence. But the line between innovation and exploitation has never been thinner. So what do you trust? Code? Clouds? A stranger claiming to be a white hat? It only takes one click, one unchecked box, one careless deploy script, and just like that, $600 million disappears in seconds. If this story chilled you, subscribe now to Cybercrime Exposed Files, unmasking the dark side of the digital world. Like the video and share your thoughts in the comments below. And answer this. If you could hack the system and no one would ever know, would you do it?